Okay, here we go. This is our first game of Starcraft with Sardeth versus GrimSouls. We'll go ahead and let the game be made. Looks like we got both teams going Protoss. So that'll be a game. And here we go. We are in spectator mode up here in the top left corner. We have GrimSouls. And in the bottom right, SardethGames. This is Division 4. Sardeth is the number 1 seed, and GrimSouls is the number 4 seed going into this. Best of 3 matchup. So starting off, both of them bringing out their pylon. This pylon provides actual power, like a source of power for all of the Protoss buildings. A strategy is that these buildings that are being built looks like kind of standard both all the way across. He's starting that, his pylon, and then coming across, looks like Sardeth is going with the gateway first, very standard opening for Protoss. As we go down to the mini-map, this is the mini-map down here, so as I click on it, we can go back and forth. I can see everything as the spectator, but these players can only see what their units see or buildings see. So a little bit about this, as we have a 4-minute timer, being right over here. We have a 4-minute timer for StarCraft where we don't go past the middle of the map. It allows players time to build, and it does force a meta. It does force kind of a macro play meta rather than just a rush meta. So here we got, coming out, GrimSouls coming out with 2 gateways and a forge. Forge being used for building up upgrades for your units and everything like that. Gateways are for building army units. That in and of itself looks like we got same thing here. Starting in Nexus, starting is Sardeth going with the cybernetics core. The cybernetics core is good for upgrades. He's already started with building the I believe that's a gateway. It is a gateway upgrade that allows you to warp in units. And starting on a Nexus. Now, the Nexus is what's used to build. This would be a Nexus here. It's to build and harvest resources. If you look down here, this is the resources they have. And the number plus that 300, 200, 300, that is roughly how much they are making per minute. So as you can see, Sardeth jumping up quite a bit with 27 workers to GrimSouls 15. So Sardeth is really, especially with mining here, is really mining up, and along with starting a second Nexus, whereas GrimSouls is still only working on one base. Doesn't even have it fully saturated yet with 10 workers out of a possible 16, 3 out of 3 here, and 2 out of 3 here, with SardethGames going 3 of 3, 3 of 3, and 16 of 16. He's even building workers here, and if you watch, this worker's he has them rallied to come start mining down here. So this little guy was built by this Nexus, will come down here and start mining it. It's a way to get quite a worker lead. GrimSouls has army of 10 as we are approaching the 4-minute mark, whereas Sardeth only has an army of 1. So let's see. GrimSouls looks like he is having, these are zealots. Looks like he's having them camp right here at the midway point. Okay, having these zealots. Having these zealots camping here. He has 4 zealots off to the side. Looks like he's trying to go with some sort of a rush. Also building a couple of stalkers. Stalkers they are a ranged unit, so they can shoot things like in the sky. They can shoot things on the ground. Zealots, if we zoom in close, they just have these little side blades right there on their arms. They can only hit stuff on the ground. They actually have to go right in close and start hitting stuff on the ground. Looks like Sardeth's coming out. He has a stalker of his own, a little observer. This provides vision, and here comes the rush. Here we go. As Grim, oh no, Grim is not, his guys are not, okay, there they go. Okay, Sardeth does have his guy, his stalker up here. They are shooting, they're trying to knock out this pylon, whereas the Zealots are running back and forth. Now they're finally getting on stuff. Sardeth pulling some of his workers, trying to stop the bleeding. It looks like he will possibly stem the bleeding. Okay, Zealots doing in the toe-to-toe, doing a little more damage now. Now Sardeth with 3, and then warps in 2 more, boom, boom, along with a shield battery, which also helps. If you notice the blue above the stalkers here and above all of the units, this is something that this is something that the Protoss has. All of their units cost more, but they are all shielded. And so these shields regenerate, whereas the hit points underneath do not regenerate. So that's something to be working on. Sardeth does stave off that initial attack, and so now has an Immortal, which is a high damage unit that does. It is a high damage unit that hits from afar. It is a ranged unit. All of these units here are ranged. Sardeth now having perfect saturation on his expansion, and in his main building more out of his robotics facility, building more Immortals, having more, and also working on upgrades. What does he have for upgrades? Let's look. Sardeth with that. He also has Blink, and also he is researching +1 attack. So let's go back to the production tab. Okay, and Sardeth is starting on a 3rd. He is moving across the map. Okay, GrimSouls has a couple of stalkers here on the side. Sardeth looks like he's gathering all of his forces here, getting ready for a push. Okay, GrimSouls finally getting started on an expansion, also working on +1/+1, and as a photon cannon. This is a defensive structure, shoots both land and air. Sardeth look like he's doing some long-range mining, transferring some of his units over. Almost done with ground weapons level 1, and that might be what GrimSouls has just now completed that. Sardeth also completing the same thing, and also legs. He is competing. Oh. He has his warp prism here, going to warp in some extra units, and here comes the push. There they go. They're going to run up the ramp, and he blinks forward, and we just have everybody just going ham. They do take out the pylon, but that is not enough. Oh, it does cause the 2 photon cannons to go out, and they are not doing anything. And now Sardeth is in the base of GrimSouls. Does he have much coming? No, it does not look like it. Sardeth will go ahead and warp in a few more stalkers, and then start pushing up into the main. Seeing that there is nothing here, no workers, nothing left here. Grim is going to try to run his workers out, but there's just too much. There's just too many troops, and we will go ahead and as he gets rid of all the workers, one gets out, and we will hopefully have a surrender here soon. This is a best of 3, and so the next map, oh, here he comes back with his 2 stalkers. Not going to do much against this death ball, so Sardeth going ahead and clear everything out. Sardeth going to go ahead and clear everything out, and then start looking. I guess just start looking for. Yeah, I don't think there's anything left. He just has to He has not built his base, so he's being revealed. And there it is. And we will take a look at the score screen. And we have Sardeth with a score summary. Sardeth having 34,000 to 12,000 points. Okay, quite a few units. The graphs are always fun to look at. This is the army value of Sardeth. This was the initial push right here, and then for the army value, collecting resources. Sardeth again having 2 bases all the way done up. So we will get ready and we will start game number 2.
And now Justin just sends all of these units in on a suicide rush to clear Tevi's tanks. It works, and Justin wins the first game.
In just a moment. Okay, and here we are, game number 2 between SardethGames and GrimSouls. This map is called Neo-Humanity. As they get going right off the bat, we will go ahead, and you can see what each player is building right off the bat up here in the production tab. So keep an eye on that. Neo-Humanity has something very interesting. You have breakable rocks in this area here, or if you just want to go through, there is a small... This is like a field that slows everything down, and then you come up the other side through the mid. Looks like Sardeth is off to standard starts. Okay, both building pylons. This map has lots of you have your natural down here. You can make a third off to the side. Very well protected, kind of a mid-sized map. There's also right here. There's also a watchtower that you can send a unit to, and it'll give you vision quite a bit. Sardeth he is a senior from Pender. Senior from Pender this year. His record in Division 4 is 12-0. At 12-0, so his opponent, which is GrimSouls of Elkhorn Valley, he is also a senior. And he went with the Protoss race also. So a little bit of the toss versus the toss. Looking at income. Okay, looks like Sardeth is already drawing gas. Gas being from these resources. From these resource hubs right here. These produce gas. You need gas to build higher level units. Okay, and then the blue. These are known as minerals. So in Starcraft, you start out with just minerals, and then eventually you want to start taking a little bit of gas, a little more gas, little bit now and then. Looks like GrimSouls is not building any workers at all. He's just going to go right into. He built a couple of Stargates and going to go right into production of Zealots. So again, Zealots having 50 shield and 100 hit points. They deal quite a bit of damage, more so than the ranged Stalkers deal. Even though, but the thing is, the Zealots have to be just right up next to him. They have no range at all. They are a strictly melee unit, although a very tough unit, which is why at the beginning of the last game, they were able to break through the line that Sardeth had until he was able to warp in some more units and was able to staunch the bleeding. If we look at the production tab, Sardeth already got 2 buildings, working on Blank, working on Warp Gate, and then two more workers, as he already has his expansion nexus done and is already beginning to saturate that, building workers there and also building workers here, as he has 3 out of 3, 16 out of 16, and 3 out of 3. So he's also building workers at his main nexus. This would be your main. This is your expansion. And then if you would want to mine these out here, these are a rich mineral field. There's not much there, but you could have workers mine this out and go take this down here as a third. Or you could go across from your expansion and have a third here, but this one's pretty open. So you got multiple avenues of attack. Okay, again, GrimSouls going with the same thing, waiting for the 4-minute timer to go, and then he's going to go ahead and move across, not waiting for the last two. He's going to go ahead and move out, and he's just going to start right in. Looks like he's targeting the pylon, which there's only a single pylon here. And so if they can take it out, that'll power down all of these buildings. No, there it went. And so now he's going to go ahead and take out the stalker. Okay, oh, another pylon came up, but his cybernetics core has now been unpowered, so he's going to unpower, take out that, and then, that was supposed to be a shield generator. Sardeth going to pull all of his workers back behind, and Grim going to go ahead and just take out as many as he possibly can. Sardeth desperately trying to build and block, and also he does have 3 warp gates, so he's going to go ahead. Grim is just going to keep going right into the base, which is the right thing to do. Sardeth desperately trying to warp in as many as he can, as quickly as he can, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. And there you have it. GrimSouls taking game number 2 over SardethGames, and we will be right back going to a third. What an exciting match. What an exciting match. Looking at the graphs back here, we got army value. Yep. He just poured it on and did not end. So we will be right back with game number 3. And here we go, game number 3 of GrimSouls versus SardethGames in a Protoss versus Protoss matchup.
Tebby looks like he did see the third base coming out and try to maneuver his units to come make it stop landing, but he accidentally walked through the seat.
This is the third map for this. This is the third map, so this is a best of 3. So this game will decide who goes on to the championship and then who will play for 3rd and 4th within Division 4. The other game going on is Robotninja of Scribner-Snyder and Sticky Pigeon of Pender. Pender having 2 within this. Pender having 2 within in this Starcraft matchup. So as we start off, this is Ancient Cistern. So Ancient Cistern, as we look at GrimSouls, he's going to go ahead and build 2 pylons, go right into the gateway. Okay. Looks like Sardeth going to go also into the gateway, single pylon into the gateway, and then drop his gas so that he can start mining that. His workers are up to 16 out of 16. This is a very, very large map. So it does have breakable rocks somewhat here in the middle. Another set of breakable rocks here. And again, if you break these rocks, you get a more direct path to your opponent, but lots of resources scattered all over this map. So here we go, going on with the building, and looks like GrimSouls is dropping both of his gas, so he has that going for him. He does only have 13 out of 16, not currently building any workers. Sardeth going to have 16 out of 16. Going to go ahead and drop another pylon so he does not get supply blocked. He can only have up to 23 units right now, and that's what pylons also do. They power buildings and also give you more supply. So when this completes, if you look down here, he can now build up to 31 units. Some units cost more than 1 supply. Supply is the term here used in StarCraft. Let's see if he goes with the same build. Look like he goes cybernetics core, double gateway. Looks like GrimSouls going right into the same build, going into a. Hold a second.
that in that minimum range.
Okay, we did have him pull back a little bit. He is approaching a halfway point, so we did have him pull back a little bit. GrimSouls pull back, but now we are past the 4-minute mark where you are free to go across, and it looks like Sardeth is warping in some extra pylons, building 1, 2 cannons, and then shoving 3 into the hole, so they can't necessarily. They're running right through. Let's see if the pylon cannons will do some work. Look at them go. Pylon cannon doing some work while the shield battery is going ahead and trying to keep everything shields up. Having those cannons right there are really doing some work. Looks like Sardeth will weather this early storm, which pretty sure. Okay, which I'm pretty sure he knew was coming. So good on him. Good on him. We'll see what is going on. They did stop the early push. Sardeth now very far ahead in supply. Very far ahead in supply and able to do that. Let's see. He's warping in. He's working on shields, which is an interesting choice. Usually you don't do that with Protoss. Usually you don't. Shields are one of the last things that you upgrade. Maybe he has everything else. Well, let's look at his upgrades really quick. That's something we can do. No, he could still upgrade his armor instead of his shields, but usually you upgrade your armor. That's usually a better one. Shields you upgrade absolutely last when you got nothing else going on. Bringing in his warp prism, so this thing can be used as a mobile unit that you can warp in. More guys under. Usually you have to warp in army units next to a building. Also starting a third, we'll go ahead and watch as Sardeth is going to go ahead and push in with multiple stalkers, going ahead and using a stop and go. That way you get guys in the back that are going ahead and shooting also. GrimSouls also warping in a couple, but it doesn't seem like it's probably going to be enough. Okay, he's only on 11 workers. He has 17 total. And so looks like Sardeth is just going to clean this up right here for this game number 3, bringing in some more stalkers. Okay, going to go ahead and run, but really not much he can do on that. Not much GrimSouls can really do besides just. He's going to go ahead and he had a Stargate warping in, but with no pylons to power it, they're just going to take that out. What's warping in here is going to be another gateway. It won't even get to complete. And they will go ahead and start taking all of these buildings out, along with leaving a couple here, taking out the assimilator for gas. GrimSouls is trying to hide a base down here, but Sardeth will probably just start clicking around the map, having all of his guys look and see and check, and then take out he's going to take out his warp prism. Sardeth really watching what he's doing now, so he has both armor. Oh, there they found it. So he's just going to go ahead and warp in, and that will be game number 3, with Sardeth winning 2-1. We'll be right back with the finals.